And that is what we call in the business standing on business. Don't.
Next story. This comes from Relationship Advice. This is a 23-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 25, thinks my dad's, who's 59, thinks my dad's gifts are creepy. Red flag? Okay, so
Interesting.
This woman thinks, she's saying, my boyfriend thinks my dad's gifts are creepy. Every year for Valentine's Day, my dad, who's 59, gives/sends me flowers and a box of chocolate. Yep. He has done this every year since I've been old enough to remember. He'd always give them to me when I was little, when I went to college, and beyond, he had them delivered to me. It's just a tradition for us. I think it's sweet. I grew up in a really tight-knit, close family. I started dating my boyfriend, Mark, who's 25, a little over a year ago. Last Valentine's Day, I got the usual delivery from my dad. Mark saw and said, "Oh, your dad sent you those? Oh, okay." And that was it. Fast forward to this year. Last night, Mark and I were discussing our Valentine's Day plans for this year, like what restaurant should we go to, and he made a passing comment about hoping I don't get any creepy gifts in the mail this year. I was confused and asked him what he meant, and he said, you know, how you got that stuff from your dad last year. It's creepy for a dad to be sending his adult daughter Valentine's Day gifts. I was taken aback because it's not like my dad sent me lingerie or something. It was just flowers and some chocolate. I tried explaining to Mark that this is a tradition I have always shared with my dad. He stands firm that it's creepy and weird, and he said he asked his friends and they thought it was weird too. I tried to let it go, but it has been bothering me. One, I have never heard these kinds of negative comments from Mark before, and I'm not sure whether it's a red flag. I have never been in a serious relationship before, and I'm still figuring it all out. Two, when my dad's delivery comes this month, I don't want Mark to feel uncomfortable. Three, is it actually creepy for my dad to be sending this stuff? I have never found it so, but would like to hear other perspectives. Thanks.
Okay, can I speak to this real quick?
Yeah.
My birthday's on Valentine's Day, and ever since I was little, my dad gets me the heart box of chocolates and flowers.
Ew!
Hey,
Ew,
Mark! Mark! And I think it's sweet. I think it's so sweet, and it's a tradition. It's a tradition. It's a tradition, and this just kind of frustrates me. It's like, this is her thing.
Valentine's Day is I guess maybe people have very different opinions on Valentine's Day. I've always taken Valentine's Day to be very like innocent and
it's
sweet.
like
Because like when you're like a little kid, you're like giving each other like hearts. It's like it's not really like a sexy heart. It's just like, oh, your sweetheart, and it's like your dad's just like, oh, you're my sweetheart, you're my daughter.
Yeah.
Like that's always been my interpretation of it.
I think that's the majority's interpretation.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird.
Mark's going around being like, that Easter bunny keeps laying eggs. Oh, does that Easter bunny lay eggs in the yard?
Mark's like, hey,
I should be laying eggs in your yard.
Yeah, crack open a couple beers. My lady's father keeps sending her f***ing chocolates.
I think it's a red flag because it shows how this guy views like just relationships in general. This feels like it might fall in the same category as like a lot of other thoughts that guys can have of like, I wouldn't be surprised. This is maybe a little bit of a reach, but if Mark is the same type of thinker of like, oh, men and women can't be friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like this types of views of the world. And
yeah, if the dad can't send that type of thing, what if like a male friend got you a gift?
I think Mark would have a problem with it. I think Mark would have a problem.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Some comments. These are some interesting perspectives. Maybe he feels forced to do more than he wants to compete with your dad or whatever. Don't change your tradition with your dad. It's sweet and a great proof of your good bond. It's not creepy at all. Someone said, my dad sent me and my daughter flowers until he passed away a couple of years ago. I'm 53 now. Your dad is making sure you have also known that he loves you and thinks of you. This is not creepy or weird. Your boyfriend is making an issue out of nothing. What is wrong with him to think in this way?
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Not red flaggy. Oh God, that makes me want to cry. It's very sweet.
Someone said, your dad's Valentine's Day gifts are sweet, not creepy. Yeah. Your boyfriend's reaction, though, kind of creepy. He's sexualizing a completely innocent gesture of affection from a father to his child.
Voila.
I don't know that it's a red flag necessarily, but it is a good enough reason to really pay attention to his ability to give and receive affection outside a romantic or sexual context. There
you go.
Hey, doctor.
That's really like a good point. That's what I mean where it's like men and women can't be friends. Like, it's just like affection is only sexual.
Yes.
And I'm like, no.
Not true at all.
Not at all. There's an update.
Oh.
Big surprise here, guys. We broke up.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I tried having a legitimate conversation with Mark, ex-boyfriend, about why he found the gifts creepy. He is close with his family. They show a regular amount of affection for a close American family, so it wasn't that. He could not articulate to me why he found it creepy. He just kept saying it made him uneasy. No further explanation. There is only so much I can do regarding that, so I gave up on trying to find the root issue. He originally said he talked to his friends about it and they all found it weird. Yeah, he never did that. He admitted he made it up. He also confessed he cheated on me with 2 different girls, which took me by complete surprise. I got tested, all is fine in that regard. So yeah, I ended it. He begged me to stay and said I was the one. I refused. I said something along the lines of, you cheated on me, you lied to me, and we have different core family values. When he realized I wasn't coming back, he told everyone I cheated on him. My friends were furious on my behalf and wanted to give him a piece of their minds, but I told them I just don't want to deal with him ever again. I am so done, I just don't care anymore. He is blocked. So basically, I still have no idea what his problem with the gifts was, but good riddance. And for everyone who said I had a good dad, trust me, I know, and I am so lucky. I'm going to visit him next month and can't wait.
Oh.
Wow, so that...
Love a guy who's like, I cheat on you with 2 people. You're the one.
Yeah,
It's like, no, you're the 3. You're the 3rd.
No, I'm the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, but you're the one out of those 3.
Yeah, you're the one out of those 3. No,
Oh my God, what the hell?
This guy sucks.
Also just making, he's like, yeah, I made that up about my friends.
You know why? He didn't tell anyone because he probably deep down knew that he was being crazy.
Right. Yeah, he's jealous of the dad because he's cheating and is projecting that onto the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something's going back in the background of his brain.
Yeah, circus.
A little circus in there.
Yeah. Wow. That one just made me like, ugh.
Yeah. Shitty guy. But she broke up with him, she blocked him.
Good night.
That's good.
This next story. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to consider stopping our divorce after my ex admitted her psychic friend lied about me having an affair?
Whoa!
So I've read this story. This story is nuts.
Oh, God.
This is insane. I met my wife, Rona, when we were in college together. I made the obviously terrible assumption that the fact she was in post-secondary education meant she had a modicum of common sense.
Jesus Christ.
God damn, a hater off the bat. We started dating our senior year and after job hunting settled on moving back to her hometown after graduating. We found an apartment and lived together for 2 years before getting married. All good so far. At our wedding, I met an old friend of hers, Anna. She offered to read my palm. Weird. I am in construction and I know a few people from that group and they call themselves Roma. Whatever. Anna only comes to town every once in a while. She lives in New York City, so she doesn't have time to visit since she has an exciting life there. She makes costumes for plays and cosplayers. So we see her maybe 4 times over the next 2 years. Last time she came was Labor Day last year, and that's when it got weird. All of a sudden, Rona starts acting oddly. She starts checking in on me at work, coming by when I'm working late, asking to use my phone because hers is almost out of power, that sort of thing. She finally comes out and accuses me of having an affair. I thought she was joking, so I laugh and say that I am not. This sets her off like a Roman candle, because Anna told her I would laugh it off when Rona came for the truth. I laughed because it was ridiculous. I barely had time for a relationship with my wife and my job. I am home all weekend long. When I go golfing, her brother is almost always either in my foursome or at the club.
Foursome?
Yeah. And most important of all, I love my wife. I wouldn't do anything to harm her, and yet she takes the word of Anna, the psychic seamstress, over mine. She asked me to leave our apartment. I say no because I have nowhere else to go, so she leaves and moves back in with her parents. They think she is nuts too. Oh. I spent the next few months working and trying to convince her that I'm not cheating and that I want her to come home. I don't get invited to Thanksgiving because it would be awkward. I didn't even stick around for Christmas. I went home to see my family. They have been following all this stupidity without commenting until then. At Christmas, they had an intervention. They said my wife was having a break from reality and that she wasn't coming out of it. My dad told me to give my head a shake, which he only does when I am being monumentally stupid. When I got back, I went to a lawyer and started my divorce. That was in January. Finally, at the beginning of April, Rona calls me to talk. I say that we should talk through lawyers. She starts to cry, and I agree to meet her in public if she will allow me to record our conversation so I can give a copy to my lawyer. She eventually agreed. Turns out, her and her parents hired a private detective to find my affair. 6 months and a huge bill later, zero evidence of an affair. She finally believes me and wants to come home. I told her that our lease is up in July and I already found a job in Denver near my family. She said she would come with me. I respectfully declined. I told her we just weren't right for each other. The truth is I do not want to have my offspring share DNA with this dingbat. Damn.
Using the D word.
Anyway, I am moving ahead with my divorce. I am gutted that she took her friend's psychic vibrator over mine. Jesus. I think he meant to say psychic vibrations.
Well, he didn't.
He didn't type that.
Psychic vibrations.
Her family has approached me several times. The last time, her dad offered to front us a 25% down payment on a house if I agreed to go to marriage counseling instead of just leaving. I politely declined. I cannot be bought. Rona is now depressed, but I see no way of ever trusting her again. She is young enough that she can marry again and wreck some other guy's life. Oof. Am I the asshole?
Says the meanest sentence in the planet. Am I
will-
the asshole?
I hate my dumbass wife. Am I the asshole?
Look,
I would be mad.
he's using some harsh language, but she did have a friend tell her, like, oh, I'm getting psychic readings that your husband's having an affair, and that's all it took for her to leave him.
No, that's
I'm just like, yeah, I
low-key
whatever you're
dingbat
feeling,
behavior.
that is 100% grounds for being like, all right, yeah, I can't get back with you. Like, if that's all it took, then that's gonna happen again. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's talking like an asshole, but like, no, you're allowed to hold your boundary, and clearly you guys aren't compatible. It doesn't sound like this relationship was worth fighting for to him from the beginning, or to her, if she was willing to believe. I'm so curious what she said and what this friend, what they claimed to feel, and like, that's just really wild, and it really is for the best that they didn't stay together. And you know, he might have some anger issues that he should talk out in therapy.
We got to track down the psychic.
Yeah, I'd love to meet that person. And I want to know, like, I wish there was an update of like, why did this friend do that?
they're just,
That's such a crazy bag.
that is what's really crazy. I mean,
Also, so he was working construction. Maybe when she was reading his hand, she was reading the calluses.
And she's like, this is from jerking off another person's penis.
yeah.
It's like, no, it's from my backhoe.
My backhoe.
It's a real
side
it's
hoe.
my-
Or wait, is backhoe a real thing?
backhoe's a piece of construction equipment, I think.
Oh.
No, but that was good. My
backhoe. No, it's your side hoe.
The verdict. The
Will
verdict.
you be my front hoe.
The verdict was not the asshole. Someone said, not the asshole. Once she took the word of a psychic over you, it was over. And the fact that she then convinced her parents to hire a PI to get info on your infidelities is just the icing on the top. And only the PI coming up empty brought about the realization that you were telling the truth. What else will she blindly believe when her psychic friend has another vision? Run, don't walk.
I do want to point something out. A 25% down payment on a house in Denver, that's probably like $300,000.
It's pretty crazy. That shows, though, like,
That's crazy.
this family knows how much she f***ed up.
like,
They're like,
yeah.
and they're probably like, she is never gonna find anything.
Aww.
Like,
Gotta have a little faith.
yeah. Lastly, someone else said, I just want to be clear here. She did all of this based entirely on some random bullshit her friend just made up. Nothing else at all. OP responded, as far as I know, I have never been unfaithful. I mean, if you hire a PI for 6 months and they don't find anything, it's like, then either the PI sucks.
That was a PI. I'd be making shit up at that point.
What if the PI is the friend in a mustache?
Oh, getting double duty.
Like, oh yeah, I'm not a psychic. I'm a detective. Just robs her friend of everything.
Oh my God.
That's a good system. Be a psychic who tells people they're having affairs, then switch over to be a PI that'll be like, I'll find out if they're having an affair. Money.
Write that down.
Money.
Okay,
Making
write
money
that down.
moves.
Yeah.
Here's our last story.
Prank, we have 5 more stories.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for leaving my husband in the grocery store because he started acting like a toddler? We all go through phases and pick up annoying habits, and sometimes we just need our loved ones to gently tell us if we've picked up a particularly egregious habit. Sometime in the last year, my husband has picked up a habit where he talks like a baby. At first it was funny, but passed into embarrassing, cringeworthy behavior quickly. Examples: doggo, pupper, woofer/subwoofer, pibble, hootie boy, peepo, burb, meow meow, Sammy, sandwiches, Sammy whammy, chicken nuggies.
This is who you're married to.
Chicky nuggies, chicky tendies. Adding a toddler-esque lisp to words, and the ones that really get gross are childish euphemism for genitalia or sex.
No.
Ooh. I cannot emphasize this enough. It is not endearing or sexy to have my husband talk about my boobies and his wiener and weenie and wee-wee, hoo-haws and bajinjos.
What is it? Not bajinjo.
Bajinjos.
Bajinjos or bajinjo? No, bajinjo is vagina.
Bajinjo. Nostalgia for scrubs be damned. We have not had sex for 6 months because he cannot stop talking about my boobies and it makes me sick. Just before the pandemic hit, we were out at a restaurant with some friends. He actually ordered a Chicky Sammy, said that exact phrase, Chicky Sammy. Look, it's totally fine that he ordered the chicken sandwich. That's not the issue. Our friends noticed the baby talk because he insisted on continuing the joke and even started talking with this god-awful toddler accent. After that, I just couldn't stomach the idea of going out with him to adult places. I'd go out to the brewery with friends, but God forbid he join me and say, "Me want another beer," or something. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why he's doing this. I finally hit my limit when we were grocery shopping and everything seemed normal and fine until he gasped like a kid, ran to the ice cream section and jumped up and down yelling, "Ice cream, I want chocolate."
Wait, I'm really worried about this man. Wait, I'm really worried. I think something's going on. Oh my God. Wait, I'm really scared for the mental
She turns
health.
around and he's just like this. He's like,
Please. Please stop, Jay. I'm really worried about this guy. I think this guy has a gambling problem or something. There's something underneath the issue.
"I want ice cream." I blew all our money in Vegas last week.
Oh,
we have nothing.
my God.
We have nothing.
Listen, I have a huge porn addiction and we're in the red. We have nothing left except for this chicky Sammy. Something's going on.
I love FanDuel.
Off.
My Paul Wade didn't hit. We have nothing.
Hey, I use our kids' college fund on FanDuel.
I bet 50K on red.
You're killing me. Please.
Okay.
You have to finish the story.
So he says, ice cream, I want chocolate. I was mortified. People were staring at him and me. He kept going and kept saying, "Can we get popsicles?" And I just said, either talk to me like an adult or I'm leaving. He started saying, "Oh, you must be fun at parties," and "Lighten up, will you?" and shit like that. I just said, it and left the store, leaving him to walk home like a mile. It was fine.
A mile is fine.
Because I couldn't even look at him. Since then, things have been very tense. He keeps telling me that he wants an apology for embarrassing him by leaving him in the store. I told him that people don't get to demand apologies.
Embarrassing him?
That's what he said. If someone wants to apologize, it's up to them. I am absolutely not going to apologize for saving myself the embarrassment of a 35-year-old man with a mortgage and retirement account asking for chocolate ice cream.
And popsicles.
He got his f***ing mom.
I'm so scared.
He got his f***ing mom involved, no joke. She keeps telling me it's just a phase and that he's probably bored and I should be happy this is his midlife crisis rather than him 19-year-olds at a local bar.
Whoa!
That's a crazy statement.
Out of pocket much. I think something's going on. I think something's really bad is going on. I think this guy murdered someone. I don't think something happened.
He's having a mental break. I'm going crazy. Am I the asshole? Do I really just need to let my husband continuously embarrass me like this?
No.
Edit.
Pope.
Edit. Sorry, there was only so much space. I have talked to him multiple times, especially about the sexual comments. I've made it extremely abundantly clear that him using terms like boobies and wee-wee are absolutely repulsive to me, among other things he says. Does he have a job? Yes. And he acts completely normal as far as I know. He worked from home for a while during lockdown, and I never heard him talk like this to anyone he worked with.
Oh my God, imagine.
He's like, I'm on my pee-pee wee-wee time. Hey, what's up, George? Yeah, I got the meeting at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
No problem. All right, see you later. The deal's done.
Have a grapes.
But imagine in the middle of like a presentation at work, he's like, this mojo is gonna be really great.
I love merger.
Does he do it with friends? Sometimes, and it's generally meant to annoy them or gross them out, but he stops. He has friends where they think it's cute to embarrass each other. Is this a kink/fetish? If so, I'm absolutely done. Has he seen a doctor? No, but I asked him if he needed to talk to someone because he was acting strange, and he accused me of being stuck up and judgmental. Oof. Given that he doesn't act like this with his coworkers or his family and only jokes around with his friends, I'm willing to bet that this is an indication that he's trying to force this fetish on me non-consensually or trying to get me to leave. Does he have childhood trauma? As far as I know, and I'm relatively close to his family and would likely know, the most traumatic thing he had happen was a minor car accident when he was around 13 years old. No injuries, no death, etc. He hasn't been in a car accident in the past 2 years or anything like that, and I haven't, and as far as I know, no one else in his family has been, etc. I don't know if that feels like a different type of trauma she's bringing up.
Like she thought like his brain got hurt, yeah.
Yeah, no,
No.
Some weird reverse boss baby.
But, you know, I feel like if someone asked the word trauma, she would have brought up something.
if she was aware of it, yeah.
Yeah, I have so much to say about this because, like, you know, there's like this thing to be said about when you start saying a word ironically, your brain registers it as I feel good when I say this, so then it will eventually become unironic, and it will just become a part of your vocabulary. I feel like that could be part of it, but also knowing this dynamic with his friends and how they like to embarrass each other. We know these people that, like, they can tell when something makes you uncomfortable. It makes them want to do it so much more.
Yeah.
Like, it is such an interesting type of person, but it is so common.
Because it's like, why do you want that reaction out of your partner? Like, why do you want to annoy your partner?
And interesting that he'll stop with his friends because he like respects them more, but he's like doesn't respect his partner's boundaries as much.
Well, it's another red flag in the prank area where it is like someone gets a lot of humor out of someone's pain or discomfort.
Totally. Yeah.
That's the biggest
There's really not a great resolution to this because either way, he's just not respecting her. She's saying, hey, this makes me really uncomfortable. And he just keeps doing it kind of because of that.
Yeah, or he's Benjamin Button.
Or maybe he's becoming a baby.
Maybe he's Smokey becoming baby.
Maybe this is some weird grounded like substance boss baby thing.
Substance boss baby collab?
When?
Some comments here. Man, by the title, I assumed he just threw a temper tantrum or something. This is so much worse, and I have no idea how you put up with it for as long as you have. Not the asshole, and your husband needs some professional interference ASAP. Someone else said, not the asshole. I have 2 kids. They have never talked like that because if you talk to children with big words, they will too. What the hell is he going on about? Tell him if he insists on acting like a child, you will find him a nanny to take care of him. Someone else said, not the asshole. What the actual f***? My boyfriend and I are in our 30s and will admit that our speech can be fairly young. There are doggos, things with crunch, and our pet name for each other is a similar cutesy derivative. But that's, you know, at home. And we're both down for it. What boggles my mind is when people say, I can't believe you're making a big deal out of X, when the issue is actually, I have told you repeatedly that X action bothers me a lot, but you keep doing it. Why aren't you respecting my boundaries? Legit though, I feel like he needs some individual counseling.
Yeah, I had an ex like this where it's like, are you trying to make me want to break up with you? Like, I don't understand where they will just do something for so long as if it's a bit, but it's like, no, you're committed to this more than you're committed to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. Oof. Update.
Please say
Oh my God.
you left
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's from the POV of the baby. Boy, man, guy.
Please.
Well, here I am with the update. I talked to my husband after doing some soul searching. There was no kink, no childhood trauma. I asked him first if he understands why I'm upset and to please clarify if he was doing this on purpose or if we needed to seek medical intervention. He didn't want to tell me at first and I got worried. He eventually caved when I suggested we look for a doctor because of how worried I am. It was a bet with one of his friends that started as them trying to embarrass each other in public. He bet my husband that he couldn't keep it up for the whole year. The only off-limits part was at work because he couldn't jeopardize his career. No, he decided to jeopardize his marriage instead. For what prize? What was he going to win? A signed baseball. A baseball. I thought he was still joking. No, he was dead serious. How is the friend verifying? My husband would share little videos he took here and there of him upsetting me with the baby talk, including times he tried to initiate sex by whispering this baby talk in my ear. I wasn't in any state of undress. And by seeing us in public, like at the brewery, he got cross with me in the grocery store because I interrupted the recording and almost blew the whole operation.
What, a signed baseball?
He wasn't remorseful or apologetic. He thought we were both in on this little joke and that I'd find it hysterical. I asked him, did he understand we haven't had sex in months? No, it didn't matter. It was all worth it to him. He kept saying, you just don't get it. It's not just a baseball. I told him the joke was over. It was time to stop for good, but that I was willing to move on with him. I could forgive him. No, he wanted to keep going. There are only 2 months left on the bet, so he's so close. He said, we can have sex if you want. We'll just pretend XYZ. And I was just like, why does thinking about your friend even factor into this? What's wrong with you? You never had to do this and ruin our intimate moments. But he said I just didn't get it, and he had to be in character all the time. After a lot of arguing and tears, I left him. I'm heading up to Colorado to be with my family through Christmas, and then I'm going to move in with my sister for a little while to figure out next steps. I hope it was worth it.
Whoa. Because of the baby talk.
And that is what we call in the business standing on business. Don't.
Wow.
Wow.
Like I said, committing to a prank harder than committing to your relationship.
You were right on.
I think the funniest thing out of all these stories we read today is her being like, we haven't had sex in 6 months, and he's just like, yeah. It's for a signed baseball. Like,
This guy must be so fucking confident in himself to like bring that into the bedroom and be like, I'll fix it later.
Let me talk to you like this for my bro.
Like, are you kidding?
When he's like, okay, this will alleviate things. I've been recording you in secret.
Yeah. You're just a pawn in my whole game with my boys.
Like,
Not
you
fun.
could have doubled up on the prank. Watch this, double stuff prank. Tell your wife, she's in on it, makes the process that much easier for you.
do a bunch of fake
This is
videos
a
with her
very
and shoot
easy-
in bulk.
Yes.
Get it all done.
Yes. I honestly think the worst part about pranks is the exclusion, and sometimes that's necessary for the prank, but I think you have to like really be careful. And if you're excluding someone so badly, it's never gonna be funny.
Yeah.
And
So
to
there.
that long, a year? A year?
A year is not fun.
Yeah, I'm glad she went to that measure because I think that there's just something under the hood. Like there's smoke where there's fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like there's something, that's just one thing it feels like in a pile of other stuff because that feels like someone who's just like not willing to fight for your relationship.
That's almost always the case with Reddit stories, right? It's like, oh, here's a thing that's happening. It's like, but there was a pattern that's been going on for a long time. Someone who's willing to do that probably has done a bunch of other bullshit. Okay, our next story comes from relationships, and this was posted in 2014.
Wow.
20 years ago.
I was 14 years old when this was happening.
That's too much for me to handle.
Okay.
Does that make you 25 right now?
Yeah, 25.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, my fault. Really sucked the air out of the room with that one. That's the quietest it's ever been in here.
Honestly, we were all just doing math.
We were all thinking really hard. Okay. This is a 22-year-old woman. Me with my boyfriend, who's 24, of 3 years. He found out that his ex is engaged and literally won't stop crying.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
I, 22-year-old woman, met my boyfriend, who's 24, 3 years ago, through some mutual friends. He was pretty guarded, and I was the one that pursued him. We were long distance. I was living in Oregon. He was living in Washington, until I moved in with him last year. My boyfriend has only had one other relationship and a hookup before me. He stopped talking to the hookup a long time ago because she was crazy, but he kept in touch with his ex until she cut contact with him around 2 years ago. They dated when he was 15, and it lasted for around 2 years, and then she dumped him because he had no self-respect. Apparently, she's the reason why my boyfriend is so guarded now. I'll admit that I was really jealous of her and was glad when she cut contact with him because she's beautiful and my boyfriend talked about her as if she had all of life's answers. This past January, I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard my boyfriend crying quietly. I could tell that he was looking at his phone and I wasn't sure whether or not to say anything since I wasn't sure if he just wanted a private moment or not. After a while, he got up to go to the bathroom, so I took a peek at his phone. He was on Facebook looking at his ex's profile. She had gotten engaged and there were pictures of the ring and everything. It's been 2 months now, and my boyfriend has been breaking down out of nowhere. I keep asking him to talk to me about it, but he won't. I told him to talk to a therapist, and he got really insulted and said that he doesn't believe in therapy.
Sick, dude.
I'm unsure of what to do since this happens at least twice a week. I love him, but he's always seemed a bit distant to me, and obviously this woman is the reason why. Should I contact her and ask her if she has any insight? I'm starting to think that she must have said something to upset him like this because he didn't seem that bothered when his ex was dating other people. Oh man.
It's like turbo loser behavior.
Turbo loser.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, just kidding.
That's crazy. So he's
shit.
25.
He's
they
25.
broke up when he was 17.
He's 24. I think she wrote 2 different ages.
Okay.
No, he's 24. So 7 years ago, they broke up.
Dude.
And she got engaged, and he's crying multiple times a week.
For 2 months.
For 2 months, and when she says, you should talk to a therapist, he says, I don't believe in therapy. Now, you can pick one of those reasons to break up, but she's...
It's either she's a...
I guess I don't know. My head's going a million places, like, as I'm piecing this together, and I'm like, you know, your emotions you can't control, but, like, there's a lot you can. But also, if you're feeling that much emotion over this, and you're clocking that your partner's feeling that much emotion over it, it's like, hey, this is very serious.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, like, you can't, like, regulate someone's emotional response to something and be like, you need to calm down or something, especially if
Sure.
it's... But it also is, like, there is a little bit of, like, is this a trigger? Is this bigger than what this is? Like, this is bigger...
Right.
Like, is the ghost in the room with us now? You know what I mean? Like this is tapping into something that's a bigger problem under the hood.
And there's other hints she's thrown out here, like, yeah, she's beautiful, and he's always talked about her as if she had all of life's answers.
All the answers, yeah.
Like, hey, man, this is a lot of red flags here.
Yeah.
I think they've been together around 3 years. He cut off contact with his ex around 2 years ago. She cut off contact with him,
So
saying he had no self-respect.
He was in regular contact with his ex for a year while they were dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a whole lot. Comments. No, don't contact her. Her job is finished. If her ex still has problems with their relationship, that's his issue. Now you, Missy, do not play Miss Fix-It here. You can't fix the fact that your boyfriend is actually still in love with another woman. You can be the most perfect woman on earth, but while he still has her as his dream woman, you don't have a shit show. Honestly, and as hard as this may be, I'd talk to him about it again. And then, if there is no resolution, I'd consider moving on. You deserve someone who thinks you are the best woman on earth, not some distant ex from his high school years. OP left a long response saying, thank you for your reply. I was insecure about my boyfriend's relationship with his ex from the start. They didn't talk that often, but they'd catch up once every few months through Skype or something. She lives on the East Coast, and when Hurricane Sandy hit, he called her, texted her, and messaged her on Skype despite her having cut off contact with him prior to that. I didn't even know that he still had her phone number. Is this relationship hopeless? I knew that he still had a bit of a thing for her, but I didn't know the extent of it until now. If he can't move on after all this time, I don't understand why he got into a relationship with me.
Yeah, no, this seems like a pretty clear-cut case of him having a relationship during his formative years, that ending, him wanting it back and not being over it, and then being with someone else because he needs to feel validated, but not having let go.
And this doesn't also necessarily mean he's still in love with her. It could just be that, like, he did not process losing her, especially, like, honestly, I'm glad we went back and did the math on the age thing, because there is something about your first, like when you're 17 or something, like your first love, and it's sticking, like, I don't know, I've had people I've dated, like, get engaged, but I did see the guy, my first ever boyfriend get engaged, and I remember just being like, why did that bring me back to when I was like young? Because it brings you
Right.
back to that age, and then you're like, no, I'm in my 30s. I'm an adult. I don't know this person anymore.
Yeah.
But it brings you like back to like early college or something, or high school, when you like
Yeah.
romanticize that stuff.
That's why it's not like I'm not knocking the guy for the emotions he's feeling.
No,
'Cause
and
it's like,
you're not.
But it's like, but he's also refusing to talk to her. And that's the bigger problem.
We're knocking like the dissociation of it, like the denial, the like not being honest with himself and his partner.
Because if he's not communicating to her, she has to then deal with the mystery of where it's coming from. Because it might be coming from somewhere like that, where it's like, oh no, it's more of a personal identity thing, or it's like not reckoning with my past, as opposed to I'm not over my ex. Now all signs right now are pointing to he's not over his ex. To me, at least.
No, it is. I was just saying that like the fact that it's coming out at random times.
Yeah, it's
like,
interesting.
This could be so many things, and what sucks is he's not at the wheel here. He's not really like dealing with it.
Yeah.
Right. Also, OP did mention that she pursued him. He did not pursue her. She pursued him. So maybe he wasn't. I mean, he clearly wasn't ready. Other comments. Not to knock high school relationships, but this guy was 15 and they only dated for 2 years. It's been, what, 6 years since they broke up? I think your boyfriend just doesn't have that much experience to realize that that relationship wasn't as profound or meaningful as he believes it to be. Apparently, he's been putting her on this pedestal this entire time, which is not healthy. Maybe he should see someone about this because it can definitely put a hold on his life. I went through this same thing. It took me a stupid amount of time to really get over my high school girlfriend. And looking back now, I can't figure out why I had created this perfect love story in my head when it was nothing of the sort. That's really interesting. See, I didn't have to deal with that because I didn't date anyone until I was in my 20s. So, you know what? Why don't you try being a huge f***ing loser as a teenager?
Yeah. That's
Try
the
being obsessed
solution.
with Shakespeare and going to church. It worked for me.
Hey, why don't you play Final Fantasy, okay?
Yeah, dude, I had so many girlfriends, so I don't really relate to you guys.
And that's okay.
Sounds really hard.
Yeah,
Sounds
it was
hard to-
tough.
sounds
That
hard
must
to
have
be
been
young
really
and
hard to
busy.
reckon with.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm dying to know what happened.
So this comment said, like, haven't talked to someone. He's said he does not believe in therapy. Last comment, I would end it. I realize that you've been dating for 3 years, but this kind of reaction is off the scale. It's pathetic, and it's completely disrespectful to you. I can't see how you can move past it. Had she died, then of course one could understand this. But if he's this brokenhearted over some girl he dated in his f***ing teens, they broke up 7 years ago for f***'s sake, then you should not be in a relationship with him. I guess it's six years ago, but he was talking to his ex until 2 years ago when she cut off contact. So he clearly like maintained a relationship of some sort and was not allowing that space to happen.
Yeah, this is full of landmines here.
Yeah.
Update.
Yeah.
What do we think the plot twist is? Because we got a plot twist. So right now it's just like, oh, he's not over his ex. That's the obvious answer. Was he dating his ex off and on? Like, what was that? But she's now married, so I don't.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
That's what my brain is like, okay, if this is a plot, if we're talking like crazy plot twist, what's the craziest thing that could happen?
I'm worried that he's obsessed with his ex and she's gonna find a bunch of evidence that he is like, not over her emotionally, but he's also like, maybe just really like putting in a lot of work, keeping tabs on her and like trying to contact her. Like, she's already like, I didn't know he still had her number. Like, he tried to contact her a bunch after she'd already cut him off, which is a huge red flag.
Or maybe maybe he stalks her.
That's, I mean, truly already, she's like, I'm cutting you out of my life, and he's still trying to contact her.
And you're on
already-
Facebook in the middle of the night? First off, 2014 Facebook. Because I was like, first of all,
Yeah.
come on.
But like, this is someone who cut you out of your life, and he is literally searching her up and everything. I don't know. I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, my crazy prediction for the craziest plot twist, she's engaged, he finds out she's engaged, he goes to the wedding to try and break it up. That's the crazy plot twist I want.
Okay.
Or plot twist, they are in love.
She ends up with...
And he was crying because it's real love.
Dude.
And it sucks, and he was an asshole along the way, but he's in love with that girl, and that girl is in love with him. Dude. That would suck.
Crazy.
That would really suck, dude.
Dude, that would sit with me for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. The update.
Yeah.
First sentence. It's over, I think.
Okay, good.
I called my dad and asked him to help me move back home. These last 2 days have been really emotional. My boyfriend was gone all day yesterday. He was gone when I woke up. That's fine. I assumed he went to work early, but he still wasn't home when I went to bed. I texted him once when I woke up to say good morning and twice at night, one asking if he was coming home for dinner and another asking if he was all right. I also tried calling his cell, but he didn't pick up. I thought that I deserved some answers, so I decided to snoop, something that I've done once before when I was feeling insecure about his relationship with his ex. Well, on his laptop, hidden in a bunch of subfolders, was an MS document with his ex's name.
MS document?
Microsoft document.
Loser. I'm kidding.
Fucking nerd.
Cut that. We're gonna cut that. Okay, Microsoft.
I read it, and I'm assuming that he just saved the last conversation that he had with her right before she cut contact with him. It started out normally, but then he asked how her relationship with her now fiancé boyfriend was going. She said that it was good and that she was happy. And then it got weird because he said something like, "Really? Are you sure?" She said yes and said that was a weird question. And he said, "I don't know. I don't believe that you're that happy." I don't remember everything exactly because my head was spinning, but he basically told her that her fiancé, then boyfriend, will never treat her as well as he did, and that they've known each other X number of years and managed to stay friends after their breakup, that they've helped each other grow as people, and that she should really give him another chance. He said that he's waited for her all these years and that he loves her and always believed they'd wind up together. This was all while he was with me. She called him an asshole and told him that he had a lot of balls to say that to her when she told him a long time ago that they're only ever going to be friends, and that he's an even bigger asshole for doing this while they were both in relationships. She told him to go to hell and to break up with me for my sake because I deserve better. That's not even the worst part. No. My boyfriend woke me up this morning by calling my cell and telling me to come to the kitchen. He said that he made breakfast. So I went to the kitchen getting ready for a fight. He and I never fight, but I am so goddamned hurt. And he made what honestly looked like an amazing breakfast with a ring box in the middle of the table.
Get your pancake out.
Dude. Get your pancakes out. He told me to open it. I did. He said something like, "These last 3 years with me has been an adventure," and he hopes...
What an adventure!
He hopes to keep making new adventures with me. I guess around this time I snapped out of whatever haze I'd been in and I exploded. I demanded to know where he was all day yesterday, why he wouldn't contact me, why he's been crying over his ex for the last 3 months, everything. He got mad at me for being mad. He told me that I should be happy because he was proposing, and wasn't that what I wanted? I asked him why, when it's so obvious that he'd rather be with his ex. He told me that she's obviously moved on, so it's time for him to move on too. That's how everyone wants to be proposed to.
Yeah. Look, dude, I swear, yesterday, I finally got over my ex. And
Let's get married,
it's time
dude.
we get married.
I've never been so angry in my life. I've been so incredibly patient with this man and done my best to be understanding of his situation. I've literally given him all that I had, but I'm not going to get married to him just to be his consolation prize. It's so ironic because had he proposed 4+ months earlier, I would have been ecstatic. Now it just broke our relationship. So yeah, I called my dad crying and he's on his way to help me move back in with him and my mom. That's it. I'm a wreck, but I think it's just because everything wrong and twisted in this relationship is hitting me and it took so long for me to understand. And my ex is just sitting on the couch with his laptop. Thank you guys so much for helping me see how unfair this whole relationship was. I read every one of your comments, even if I didn't get a chance to respond to them all.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That blows.
Yeah. Honestly, though, thank God it did end with her getting out of that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, that is so tough.
There's like a wire that's connected to a different wire for this guy or something, because it's like, oh no, I got caught. Go double down and buy a ring. Like, it's like.
Yeah. And while I agree that I think therapy doesn't work, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, this guy, like, he needs bi-weekly, semi-weekly. He needs the twice-a-week therapy.
Yeah.
This is wild to, like, just double down and go the other way. And I bet he was so
like affected by seeing her truly move on. Also, it bugs me when like you in these stories you hear someone finally understand a woman's moved on when there's a ring on her finger.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she doesn't belong to you anymore.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Buddy, she was clearly moved on when she cut you out of her life.
Yeah.
like, oh, now she's really off the table.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Because her dowry's now spent. Like, like it's
Dowry.
like something made him go, oh, now she's really not available to me, so let me lock down this one here.
He has no respect for women because, I mean, he's talking to this ex being like, no, I'm right for you. And she's being like, no, I'm telling you flat out this. And he's going, no, not it.
Okay, here's my question.
But then he's also disrespecting his
Yes.
current partner so damn much. And I mean, this is like often the most infuriating part of like cheating is the cheating itself, but it's the insult to your intelligence. And it's
Yeah.
like he comes back with a ring and he's just like, yeah, and it's gonna be all right. He truly believed that was gonna
That
work.
she would, yeah. Okay, here's my question. You're the girl who's engaged, booked and blessed, okay?
Yeah.
And you're seeing him text you this stuff or DM you this stuff or Facebook message you this stuff. And you see he's clearly like social media like connected to this. He's still dating somebody. Do you slide into her DMs and tell her?
I think I do, especially after reading all of these, I do think if you have the opportunity to tell someone that they're being cheated on, you should take that opportunity.
I think I do.
It's hard. And look, there's so many stories where like it blows back at you.
Like the
previous
yeah.
one we
First
just read.
one, yeah.
But like, it's hard to just, especially I've been cheated on, and it's like, it sucks. It's just like, but like, if you have definitive proof,
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, like, give it to them because they might get mad at you, they might deny it, but like, internally they're gonna know now.
Yeah.
And you could save them a lot of years. She was gonna get married to him. Yeah. It's like, man, like, I'll get you out of this hole before you dig it further.
100%.
I think the ex was probably honestly a little like worried about this guy. Like she cut him out of her life because I think she was probably starting to get like, hey, you are not letting this go. I do not feel safe talking
Like a little
to you.
parasocial almost, where he's like acted like these 7 years they've been together or something. And she's like, no, I'm engaged to someone else, and this shouldn't rock you to your core because we haven't been together in 7 years.
Yeah. And he's like, the way he said, he was like, I believe, like I truly believe that we would end up together. It's like, if that was your belief, then why are you in another relationship? Like, what is the purpose? Like, if you really had that belief in your heart, are you just doing it for fun? Like, it's obvious that he has a lot of issues.
I can't imagine. I know this happens to so many people. I can't imagine the mindset that he knows deep down that he's not over his ex before and still, and he's gonna propose and get married to this person. I'm like, you wanna do that? Like, I don't understand that mindset. I don't understand the mindset of proposing to someone when you're not like, this is for sure what I want out of life. He is so clearly communicating to OP that he's settling with her. Like, I mean, it's blatant. These are the moves of an untherapized person, right? There is no emotional intelligence to any decision he's making.
This is me jumping, but I almost think if he did go back, if that girl, his old love or whatever, did like give him space, I almost think he's idealizing her so much that he won't even, he doesn't even, like women are just like kind of placeholders a little bit, and there's like a bigger issue. And that it wouldn't even, like he'd be let down and he'd be like, oh my God, you're not everything I built you up to be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like he just disappeared for a day to go like, I don't know, walk around a park and like consider his options and be like, God, it really doesn't seem like she's engaged. Like maybe I should go get a ring and lock this down before she realizes he's like, I feel like there had to have been some like self-reflection of like, I've been crying over her. I need to propose right now because she'll say yes. And then like, yeah, I'll have this locked down. Like settling for it.
He so clearly had no respect for his girlfriend, like at all. And she realized that. And that sucks. That's so infuriating, but like, I'm so glad she has self-respect for herself. And our producers threw out an interesting of like, what if he's trying to get engaged to make his ex jealous? To be like, oh, I'm over you.
Oh God, that could be so
Check it out.
true.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know, but it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, I actually think that might be it. That's sad.
Unfortunately, might be.
It's probably the first time he ever made her breakfast.
It probably is.
Probably had to Google how to make an egg.
Here's our next story. This is from 2016. This is a little old school.
I was in high school.
Well,
That makes me sick.
here we go. It's a 29-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 32, gave away my Hamilton tickets. Am I being selfish for just wanting to break up over this?
What?
Based on that title alone, what do you think?
So he gave away the Hamilton tickets?
He gave away Hamilton tickets.
Okay, it better have been for a lot of money.
Throw away because while I'm fairly sure he or his family doesn't Reddit, I would rather be safe than sorry. Backstory, my mom is genuinely one of the funniest, kindest, sweetest people I've ever met, and I'm genuinely lucky to have been her daughter. She had me fairly young, raised me by herself, and while we were pretty poor growing up, she did her damnedest to make sure that I got a good education and had everything I needed as a kid. One of the things we share is a love of the theater. She would save up and take me to all the musicals that stopped on tour in our town, and while we were always in the cheap seats, it was always something we both greatly looked forward to. These memories of going to the theater with my mom are very precious to me and are one of the main factors in why I work in the entertainment industry today. Corporate side, I have a horrendous singing voice, LOL. Fast forward to today. Like most theater nerds, my mom and I are basically obsessed with Hamilton. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with it, this show is basically impossible to get tickets for at this point, unless you want to see it in January of next year. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position with my job that I could afford tickets for a show in July for me and my mom. These are amazing seats, 5th row center. And through some type of divine intervention, I managed to snag tickets for the night of Lin-Manuel Miranda's final performance. I surprised my mom with these tickets back in December. I bought them in October, I think, for Christmas. I'm making a whole week of it. I put us up in a really nice hotel. I made reservations at a bunch of restaurants that we both want to try, and we're going to do a bunch of touristy shit in general. Plus try to see if we can fit in at least one other show before we leave. We're both incredibly excited for this. My mom even has a little Hamilton countdown that she's doing on a mini chalkboard she uses as a planner. She sends me pics every day when she changes it. It's cute. In January, I began dating this guy that I'll refer to as Josh. We were casual / not exclusive for a while, but became serious within the last 2 months. He also works in the corporate side of entertainment, but at a different agency than I do. He also has a higher position than me and makes a lot more money than I do. This becomes important. We met at an industry event and we hit it off instantly. I thought I could get really serious about this guy, and up to this point, there have been no red flags that I've seen. Although right now, I'm sifting through all of my memories to see if there's something I missed. He also comes from a much wealthier family than I do. Josh has a younger sister that I'll call Jennifer, who's 17, that's kind of going through a big troubled teen phase. She cuts class, smokes, and is really disrespectful to her parents. I've only met her once, but as far as I know, she's not doing anything too bad. She's just kind of a sad kid and could really benefit from some therapy. I floated this by Josh, but he said his parents are kind of disdainful of therapy in general. Josh says they can't reach out to her no matter what they do, and they've tried everything, except trying to get her to a counselor, but whatever. Actual problem time. Sunday night, I was at my place with Josh. We were drinking wine and cuddling while watching the Tonys, Theater Awards show in parenthesis.
Oh.
Got it. I didn't know.
Gotcha. Didn't know that one.
My mom was texting me during the Hamilton performance and geeking out about how excited she was. I laughed and showed my mom's text to Josh because I thought it was so adorable. And he didn't say anything off, but he was acting kind of strange after. He asked me what date the show we were going to was. I told him, and then he went into the other room to take a phone call. I thought nothing of it because we both have to take random phone calls like that for our jobs all the time, and he's going through some kind of tough time at his. He was in an unusually good mood afterwards and said he had to go home early because he had to sign some forms at the office early tomorrow, before we met up to go get brunch with his parents later that day. Again, nothing too unusual and pretty common with the both of us. He picks me up at work for brunch with his parents, and again, he's in an unusually good mood. I ask what's up, and he says vaguely that things are going well at the office, and this deal he's trying to make is finally going through. I don't really press for info because we both try to avoid work topics, partially due to work shit being fairly banal, and partially because we both have to sign some pretty gnarly NDAs a lot of the time. And this is only my second time meeting his parents, so I'm still a bit nervous about brunch. We get to the brunch place, and the first thing his mom does when she sees me is gives me a huge warm hug and profoundly thanks me for my kindness. Her dad also gives me a huge handshake and thanks me for helping out with Jen. I'm kind of what the f***ing because I have no clue what they're talking about. I ask what she means and she says, for giving her the Hamilton tickets. I turn around to Josh and he just has this big grin on his face. But Reddit, that time my boyfriend was away talking on the phone for business, he was actually on the phone with Jen promising that I would give her my Hamilton tickets. I was so thrown off by this that I, kind of not very tactfully, I admit, say how I had no clue about this. Josh looks pissed, and his parents are equally thrown off. But instead of getting mad at Josh, his mom just says, well, you can still give them to her though, right? And they all look at me like I'm supposed to just agree with this. I try to explain that the trip is actually for me and my mom, and how important this is to my mom. All three of them start going on about how Jen is super excited about this, and that this is the first time that she's not been mad/expressed happiness to them in a while. And that's how the next half hour goes, basically, until the parents leave, mad, and the dad calls me a selfish cow. I'm so flabbergasted that I just sort of put up with it, but I could barely get in a word. Josh and I go outside the brunch place, and he starts screaming at me about my selfishness and how Jen is going through a much harder time than they thought. He wasn't clear on this, so I'm not quite sure what he meant, and that I'm being childish because it's just a musical. I hate having arguments in public. Also, this is one of my favorite brunch spots, and I wanted to be able to come back without being embarrassed, so I wasn't really engaging. He eventually called me a c***, what the f***, and then left in his car, which is awkward as hell because it was a valet parking, so he was just kind of stewing by the valet stand while I was waiting for my Uber. Later that night, I texted him saying while I wasn't giving up my tickets, there are still some available on that date. However, they cost about $2,500 due to ticket scalpers jacking up the price. Believe me, this is not a problem for either the parents or my boyfriend. He literally bought a $3,000 watch for funsies last week. The only response I got was that was an exorbitant fee. I agree, but not the point. He refuses to pay, and he didn't understand why I couldn't just give the tickets to Jen. I also got texts from both his parents pleading with me to get the tickets, and also they forwarded an email to me that Jen sent to Josh and her parents, thanking them for the surprise. Apparently, she's also obsessed with Hamilton, and this is making her year. Also, we live in LA. Do they also expect me to give up my plane ticket/hotel? What the f*** was their game plan here? Look, I completely understand wanting to help out with Jen, and I feel really bad that apparently her family is filled with weirdos, but this has been all so baffling, and the entitled behavior they displayed is a massive turnoff. I'm not giving up these tickets. Is this selfish? But I also kind of want to cut my losses here. The attitude Josh displayed towards me outside of the brunch place was very unpleasant to say the least, and he knows how disrespectful I find being called a so I'm half of a mind to just break up with him. He knew I had these tickets for a while, and I don't get why he decided to do this now at all. But should I contact Jen and explain at all? I just saw that she made a really excited post on Facebook about it. I'm not friends with her, but I am friends with my boyfriend, and he liked her post. I would straight up buy the ticket for her, but frankly, I can't afford those prices because I'm saving up for the New York City trip for my mom. How do I move forward? Oh my God.
She should kill him.
Break up with that mother.
I was reading it, I was like, you know what? Maybe he should die.
Maybe dump him and then dump his body. Like actually murder this man.
That is wild.
Yes.
Everything inside me was shutting down.
No, I'm gagged.
My system was like,
her comment where she's like, I'm looking back and seeing all the red flags, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy didn't have a million red flags.
probably had I cannot believe the parents called her a selfish cow.
Cow?
Yeah.
What?
No, this family's
This
a nightmare.
Okay, first of all, I'm really glad that I was worried that he sold the tickets and they were gone.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
was getting really overwhelmed.
Me too. I thought it was going to be something with like the agency where he was like, I need to close a deal, so he gave the tickets, and I was
the mom
like,
was sending photos. She had a checklist. She was ready to go to Hamilton. It's their thing.
It's their
Since they
thing.
were young. Why would he take that?
because he's evil and needs to die.
Let's
Yes.
bury him under the brunch place.
Done.
Done.
Done. We're going.
All right.
It's been 8 years, guys.
You coming?
He could be dead.
Let's look at the obituary.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, Jen, I get it. 17-year-olds are going through a tough time, but tickets
But well,
aren't going to solve her issue.
and let's be clear,
No.
Jen's her year is not going to be ruined because of her. Her year is going to be ruined because of her family lying to her and making up all this bullshit, and that they're not willing to just buy the tickets for her.
She probably would be so upset knowing that would be taken away from this.
Yeah.
No, that's actually like just full of absurd, ridiculousness.
Horrendous.
It actually just continued to unravel and fully just stopped making sense at a certain point. It was that bad.
I feel bad for her because, you know, there's a lot of people like this, and like of people who they are so harsh on themselves that they're not realizing how much of a monster someone is. Because at the end here, after she wrote out this story, she's like, I am not giving up these tickets. In parenthesis, is this selfish? It's like, how are you questioning that?
What are you saying?
How are you possibly questioning that?
This is your thing that you worked hard for.
I completely like hear that though. Like it's like you don't have that. No, this person has clearly never been validated. They've only been made to feel like that they are wrong, to doubt themselves, to be insecure about their thoughts. So they do have to genuinely reach out to a community and say, am I crazy?
I can only assume that this guy in their few months of dating has been so controlling and she thinks it's normal. And this was finally where he clearly thought he could just do this.
Of
course. Here she was talking about like, I got tickets with my mom, and he's sitting there going, oh, I can just take those.
Yeah.
Those are mine now.
You're so right.
Like he is so messed up that he's thinking just, I'll be able to do it. And he assumed he would say that and she'd go, oh yeah. That's what he thought was going to happen.
So much control.
And he was so mad when it didn't work.
Yeah, he called her a outside her favorite brunch place. That is a crime.
That is a crime.
Yeah.
And I love that she was like, I wasn't going to fight back because I want to come back to this brunch place.
Yes, I loved that. But
I
you know what?
I know.
I fully want to say, like, it's heartbreaking that she doesn't understand that it is so selfish of him to do. But I do want to take a second and actually acknowledge how empathetic this woman is.
Yeah.
And that gets taken advantage of.
Yes. In her whole response, she does not like blow her top at all. She's continuing to be like, they called me this. And you know what? I understand because they're clearly going through a lot inside of their family.
You don't owe them that in this moment.
And it's like, oh, honey, like you have clearly, you have so many great tools. And it sounds like she's had a great mother who has raised her so right. Hamilton, so cute, so great.
Let's also
they
be
have a
clear.
great relationship.
Let's also be clear. They're going through a lot. They have the money to buy these tickets.
Right.
They could have just gone, you know what? She's taking her mom. That's a great idea. We should buy tickets for Jen.
Right.
Like,
No.
They don't want to do shit for Jen.
Also, take Jen to therapy, man.
Yeah, actually, like,
no, Jen's
hashtag
probably
take Jen
miserable.
to therapy.
Jen's miserable because that's her family.
Exactly.
Yeah, justice for Jen.
Yeah.
Justice for Jen
No,
and the brunch
I guarantee
place.
you, Jen's probably like, I fucking hate them.
I fucking hate. Is there any update?
No, but there's some comments here.
Lynn didn't go on that night.
Top comment. I would dump him. It's not just about the tickets, but the lack of respect. He chose not to tell you and waited for it to come out in public in hopes that you'd step down to avoid making a scene. You sound like you have a good relationship with your mom. Take her to the show. Good moms are forever, boys are temporary. That's so true. He waited. He waited till there was a bunch of people at her brunch spot and let someone else say it so that he set up the whole chess trap. Insane. OP responded to that saying, yeah, I'm typing up an email dumping him right now.
Email.
Normally, I think it's better to meet up in real life for things like this, but his behavior both during and outside brunch was scary, and I would prefer not to be alone with him right now. Maybe that's paranoid, but better safe than sorry. I think this is one of those situations where everything was so crazy and they were acting like this is totally normal behavior that I thought I was the insane one. Another comment. There was a really similar post to this during Christmas where the OP made this beautiful cat vase for her mom by hand. It took months, and the boyfriend gifted it to his mom in front of her and expected the OP to just go along with it. The OP said there was a mix-up, and the boyfriend's mom was so crushed. He reacted the same way this OP's boyfriend did, yelling and calling her selfish. So apparently stuff like this happens more often than you think. Lastly, we have someone said, erase yourself from the narrative.
Queen.
Yes.
Queen.
OP said all the Hamilton puns in here are killing me in the best way. I can only assume there was a bunch more. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't I think at any stage in a relationship, if your partner calls you a that's, if you said, I'm going to break up with them, I'd be like, that's fair. Like, had they been married for 20 years and this happened, that's grounds to get rid of it entirely.
Absolutely.
This is like 2 months in. This guy is a nightmare.
That one really made me go,
I have a feeling that shit's common.
Oh.
Also in the comments, let me know if that has happened to you or if someone has
is
done
that
shit.
common?
I think like just that type of controlling behavior of just being like, that's mine. Like everything's mine.
And just like treating other people around like they are just your pawns.
Yeah.
It's just his family and people around him that he cares about. And this girl, her life doesn't matter because she only exists as an extension of me for the last 2 months.
See where he got it from. I mean, his parents.
Yeah.
And Jen's like probably
Jen.
living her life. She's probably a spiritual guru. At
Oh
this
God,
point.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Justice for Jen. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Next story. This comes from True Off My Chest. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. So I'm still processing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Last night, I woke up and realized someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut, and the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulder. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleepwalked or something, but no. To be that heavy of a sleeper.
Yeah, that's absurd.
I confronted my husband, Tim, because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he drops this bombshell. My mom, she might have done it.
How did she get in?
This is a horror story. Apparently, my mother-in-law, let's call her Diane, is convinced I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week she saw me having lunch with a coworker. For the record, the coworker, Kyle, is gay, and we were literally talking about work. But Diane decided I must have been having an affair, and instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands on my hair.
This is f***ing wild.
This morning, I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, but when I pressed her, she literally said, well, maybe now you'll think twice before humiliating my son. I was fuming. I told her Kyle isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, that's what they all say. I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I wanted to go no contact with her, but Tim is stuck between me and his mom, and I feel like this is going to be a huge blow up in our marriage. Any advice? Because I'm honestly at a loss here. My husband and I will be going to my mother-in-law's tomorrow to talk to her about the situation again. Hopefully everyone will be calmed down by then and I won't have to threaten legal action. Thank you all for the support and suggestions. I will keep them in mind.
Unbelievable.
So brutal.
Whoa, dude.
That is
Oh my God.
unbelievable. See, this is why I sleep with my head sandwiched between two pillows. Because I'm always worried about this happening.
To be clear,
Yeah.
this is a assault.
No,
It
yeah.
is probably several crimes lumped into one.
Oh, yeah.
She violated her body.
Breaking
Like,
and entering.
Breaking and entering, I mean, just all
Assault,
of it.
yeah,
I feel like
it's-
this is a clear-cut case.
100%. No, she could press charges and like ruin the mother-in-law's life. Like that is so
Also,
insane to do.
absolutely terrifying that the mom was able to pull this off without waking them both up.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical of the husband because she broke into their house. She goes and cuts her hair, gets out of the house, and the husband's like, yeah, it might have been my mom. You just knew?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you're like, yeah, it probably was my mom. What? Like,
This is so, oh
That's
my.
horrifying.
I also think, I understand her. That is a no contact.
This person
Yeah.
doesn't respect personal bound, your literal, your body.
Yeah.
They will just come into your space without your permission and your shit up. That is just so. I wouldn't be able to go into her house.
Because she was having lunch with a coworker.
Yeah.
That's why she did this. God knows what she'll continue to do.
No.
That is such
That's
a
the
violation.
starting point, as far as we know. So, I mean, this mom could actually kill someone.
Yeah.
To invade someone's house like that and cross that boundary, it's not that far off, right?
No.
It's like.
No, at that point, I would assume the mom is capable of anything.
It would be hard for me to sleep in that house.
I wouldn't be able to be in the same state as that mom.
No, it's indefensible. There's like no, like, if I'm the husband, I genuinely, I love my mom so much, and I obviously know she would never do anything like this, but if she did something like this, like, that is not anywhere in the realm of okay. And if my wife said, I want to go no contact, I'd be like, okay, like that is such a violation.
You have to make her and her body feel safe in that house. Right? Like if you're this person's partner, you have to make this person feel like they can rest.
I would be reporting the mom, if I'm him, I'm reporting the mom, not out just for the safety of my wife, but also kind of for the safety of the mom, being like, something is wrong. Like, you cannot be out in public right now. Like, I don't know what kind of help you need, but oh my God, like that is a delusion that is so extreme.
And what does she think of her son to not be able to stand up for himself, or like that she has to invade into his relationship if he's being cheated on? Like, he's an adult. He's not being cheated on, but if that's the case, he's not a child. He's like an adult man.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many situations where a mother or father-in-law is being awful in a much more like normal, like kind of way, I guess is the best way I can say it. And I understand where it's tough to be put in that bind between like your spouse and your parent. This is a situation where I feel like the answer is pretty clear.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm siding with the person who a crime was committed against, and I need to make them feel safe. Mom, you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry. You've lost.
Yeah.
You've lost in this situation. Comments, this is assault, please report her, terrifying. Someone said, if your husband doesn't realize that this is straight up crazy behavior and that you need to be protected from this lunatic, he needs to be an ex. Someone else said, this time it was your hair, which in itself is a huge deal. Next time it could be an injury. Your husband shouldn't be stuck between his mom and you.
Yeah.
This woman is 100% to blame. You did nothing wrong. If she can't communicate things and takes this type of action, she can't be trusted. I wouldn't be trusting my husband either in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried that he woke up and saw it happen and then like...
Oh my God.
Because I'm just like, how did he know? He knew right off the bat that it was the mom, which either means she was saying something before or he woke up and was like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that they both didn't wake up. And I believe her.
Yeah.
Because if she woke up, she would have been like, what the fuck? But I'm having a hard time that he didn't either.
Or maybe he just like knows his mom is a revengeful person, or he's just like on a much less insane scale. Just he has his mom fight his own battles.
Update.
Oh, yeah.
After the conversation we had with Diane this morning, I noticed my husband, Tim, was acting weird. At first, I thought it was just guilt about standing up to his mom, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened.
No.
Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come up with the haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said he truly thought I was cheating on him with Kyle, my gay coworker, because Diane had convinced him that there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of weird punishment, he didn't stop her. In fact, he led her into our house that night while I was sleeping. Tim said he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth. So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterward, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realize that he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, I'm so sorry, I was just confused. But I honestly don't know how to process this. This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic. This was both of them. And my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed a bag and am staying with a friend tonight while I figure out what to do. I don't know if I can ever trust him again after this. I think your answer's there.
Yeah.
It's not just the haircut, it's the fact that he didn't talk to me, believed the worst about me without any proof, and actively participated in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report on both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it will get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this: I deserve better than this. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through this. Your comments and advice have meant the world, and I'm truly grateful for the kindness and understanding. It's helping me find the strength to figure out what comes next. Dude, do not, let him off. This is unbelievable.
No, pressing charges against the mom, 100%. I guess if you want to have a conversation with your husband.
They both did it, though.
Yeah.
The husband and the mom worked together to do this. They're both 100% liable.
Somehow it got so much worse. I wouldn't think that would happen.
I didn't think this could get worse. Either way, the end result is getting as far away from these people as possible. He is an absolute dumbass. I mean, what did he think was going to happen? Is like, oh, you're cheating on me, so I'm going to have my mom cut your hair in the middle of the night, and that will do something. I just don't understand what his line of thinking is here. Can you not form a complete sentence and ask your wife a question? Can you not talk to her? Like, how stupid are you? I hope charges get pressed against them so that it makes it clearer for people in the future that he is dangerous and that it will prevent other people from ever being with him. That's my hope. I also fully see what she's saying, because when we're reading a story on the internet, it's easy to be like, oh, dude, go to court, take him down. But you are kind of committing potentially your whole life.
And it costs
to
money.
Legal battles, a lot of money. It sucks that it is so complicated. I understand her just being like, I want to just get away and just move.
I would be scared of
I
the
totally
mom.
understand it.
Yeah, I'd be so scared of any retaliation that they would do if you took legal action.
Especially when you already know these are dangerous people, like truly dangerous people. That's scary because you're like, oh, because if she was like, oh, I'm worried about doing this because I'm worried they'll murder me, I'd be like, I can't say no, they won't.
She had scissors around her head.
Yeah, that is the behavior of someone who is capable of murder.
Yeah.
To me. Final update.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to give an update after everything that's happened. After spending the last couple of days trying to process everything, I finally made some concrete decisions. First, I contacted a divorce lawyer. I explained the entire situation, including that my husband admitted to and how his mother violated my trust and personal safety. The lawyer was very supportive and walked me through the process of filing for divorce. While it feels daunting, I know this is the best decision for me. I can't see a future where I could ever trust my husband again after what he allowed to happen. Second, I decided to press charges against my mother-in-law. I've filed a police report for assault, and I've documented everything. Photos of my hair, text messages, and the timeline of events. While I'm still nervous about how messy this could get, I refuse to let her get away with what she did. What she did wasn't just humiliating, it was an act of violence, and she needs to be held accountable for it. As for my husband, I've made it clear that I'm done. I've moved out and will not be returning. I've blocked his mother entirely and am limiting any communication with him to legal matters only. I'm still scared, hurt, and figuring things out, but I feel a little more empowered now that I've taken these steps. Thank you to everyone who has offered me advice, support, and encouragement. It's helped me more than you know. This is still far from over, but I'm determined to move forward and build a better future for myself. I'll keep you updated as things progress.
Wow.
I think that's the best possible outcome right now.
Yeah.
That's the last update. I hope things work out for her.
Me too.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah,
Man.
That's unbelievable.
That's like a true horror story.
Yeah, it really is. It's so scary.
Terrifying.
I can't believe what people are capable of, because that is just shocking.
That's so bad.
That's one of the wildest ones we've ever read.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm imagining like if I woke up in the middle of the night and someone was in my room with scissors, that I would never be able to forget that. You know, that would freak me out forever.
I would think it's a demon.
Yeah.
I'd wake up and be like, oh, a demon is trying to kill me. I need to return that figurine that I stole 30 years ago. Well, I hope for the best for her. If we ever get another update, we'll be sure to share it. Because hopefully some positive things happen for her. Am I the asshole for letting you know I am divorcing you by sending you a thread on the website that you used to ignore me?
Me?
Huh?
Oh, wait, is this to us?
Wait, what? You're divorcing us?
You're divorcing us?
Sorry. No. Here we go. This was posted a couple weeks ago. Hi, Steffan. Maybe you will finally listen. And if you're wondering if you can just speed home and stop me from doing this and leaving, it's too late. I'm sending you this after I've already loaded everything in the car and left. Don't worry, I spoke with our landlords and took my name off the lease. I've set up a direct deposit for the next month's rent. After that, you're on your own, buddy. I guess you're wondering why. I'm guessing you'll act like you're completely blindsided, right? Because you've done absolutely nothing wrong and you're a great husband and father-to-be, aren't you? Well, buddy, let me break it down for you in a language you understand. I, 29-year-old woman, have been married to my husband, a 35-year-old man, for 5 years, and we've been together for nearly 10. On paper, everything seemed fine, but in reality, our marriage has been anything but. I've reached my breaking point, and I need to know if I'm the one in the wrong here. From the beginning, my mother-in-law has been a nightmare. She made everything about her from day one. At our wedding, she wore white, claiming it was a family tradition. It wasn't. She constantly criticizes me from my cooking to my appearance. I'll never forget the time she called me fat at a family gathering, right in front of everyone. And what did my husband do? Nothing. Not a single word to defend me. It didn't stop there. She has accidentally destroyed my belongings, including my grandmother's necklace, which she threw out because it looked like cheap costume jewelry. She's gone out of her way to make me feel small and unwelcome in my own home. But every time I tried to talk to my husband about it, he'd brush it off, saying I was overreacting or being too emotional. And then there's my husband. He's always on Reddit, constantly giving strangers relationship advice, which is laughable considering how he treats me. He spends more time rating women's boobs on Reddit than talking to me. Literally. And just so you know, the last pair he rated weren't a 4 out of 10. They were a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
He's got plenty of time to do that, but can't be bothered to remember anything about my life. He'll forget my birthday, our anniversary, even simple things like what I'm working on or what's important to me. But he has a perfect memory for his work schedule and things that matter to him. When we fight, he becomes incredibly hostile and always throws in a sarcastic buddy at the end of his sentences, like I'm some acquaintance he can barely tolerate. And he never cleans. The house, the dishes, laundry, you name it, it's all on me. It's like he thinks being an adult is optional as long as he's got his job and his Reddit account. The final straw came a few weeks ago. I'm 5 months pregnant with our first child, a daughter. My mother-in-law started making comments about how she'll have to whip the girl into shape and how she'll raise her to be tough because I'm too soft. When I told my husband that I didn't want his mother to have too much influence on our daughter, especially with the way she treats me, he just laughed it off, saying his mother means well and that I was overthinking it. But the moment that truly broke me was when we were talking about future childcare and my husband suggested that his mother should watch our daughter while we work. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, especially considering how his mother treats me, and he snapped. He called me paranoid and said I should get over it because his mother was going to be a big part of our daughter's life, whether I liked it or not. This is the same woman who believes corporal punishment is okay. I've seen her hit my husband's nephew for the smallest things, and no one does anything about it. It's like they're all living in some kind of cult, and I'm finally waking up to the reality of what's going on. If he wouldn't stand up for me, how could I expect him to stand up for our child? I started to fear for what kind of environment our daughter will grow up in. A place where she might be belittled or bullied by her own grandmother with a father who wouldn't do anything to stop it. Oh, and did I mention that he missed our first ultrasound? His mother needed him to help her with something urgent. It turned out to be fixing her Wi-Fi. He chose that over seeing our daughter for the first time. That told me everything I needed to know about where I stand in his life. So I packed up and left. I'm done living like this. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I've already contacted a lawyer. You can't scare me into complying anymore because I have all those texts. You know exactly which ones I'm talking about. So, Steffan, I wish you all the best in your future marriage with your mother and the women of Reddit whose boobs you don't even deserve. Am I the asshole for leaving my husband after he neglected me for years, let his mother mistreat me, and made me fear for our future daughter's safety?
Oh,
Wow.
holy crap.
Okay. She a bad bitch.
She put up with so much crap. I'm so glad that she finally got out. like,
Seriously.
and she found his Reddit. Imagine that being like the final, like, holy crap.
I also love her, I also found those texts. You know the ones I'm talking about. I'm like, badass, dude.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
crazy.
Hell yeah.
And so brave and bold of her to be able to do that pregnant. To not be like, you know what, I should stay. Like, because I would grant her that grace of like, of course that makes sense. But she is rather because she's pregnant, she's making that a point of like, you know what, you know who doesn't need to be exposed? My daughter.
No.
I'm out.
And it's crazy that he was like, you're being paranoid. When like there are clear instances of actual alarming things that are happening and he's just completely ignoring it. I feel like that's one of the most common things I hear in a lot of these Reddit stories is there's family issues and the partner's not fighting for or advocating for each other.
Yep.
Like, I think that that's something that maybe not everybody learns is that when you have a partner, like a life partner, you guys get to be a team when your family isn't there for you and when your family isn't there for your partner, they are just as important to you. Like,
Yes.
well, clearly he doesn't view this woman or women as important to him, period. But like, it's just, I really want more people to know that like you guys are supposed to be there for each other and protect each other from your families, each other's families. Like,
I have a friend who has a really good like analogy that she always talks about with that situation where it's like, you know, we each grew up in fish tanks, right? Where we're like with our immediate family and then eventually you meet somebody else and then you start your own fish tank with them. And there can be like, you know, a little like pipeline where you're connected still to your family, but then you're building this fish tank with that person. They are now your equal and it's now, this is my priority, this is my person, I'm going to make sure that I advocate for them and us.
Right.
While also, yes, catering to the family's needs, but still making sure that this is the partnership that I am in for the long haul.
And he might think like he has the tools to quote unquote deal with his family, but she doesn't. And like it's up to you to help your partner like and have your family like get into a common kind of place, like because that's your responsibility. It's your family, like. It's really crazy to see people be dismissive like that. And he's just
Totally.
and then when I can only imagine when she found his Reddit, it's like, okay, so no, you are just a horrible person to your core.
Yeah.
That's to find that has got to be devastating. I don't know how you recover from that. To be like, you do this?
You just look at women's boobs and rate them.
Like, not only are you like, you're looking at women's boobs, but then you're also like just saying mean things.
Yeah.
About,
And then giving relationship advice? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy work. Comments. Someone said, rate my departure, 10 out of 10 OP. I wish you well in your new life. Never heard of that subreddit. Well,
I like that.
I love that.
Someone
Let's get some more
said,
of those.
Not the asshole. Hope Steffan and mommy wife are eternally trapped with each other. She failed raising her son into a complete autonomous human and would have tried to damage your daughter. He would have let her. Lastly, someone said, not the asshole. Question for Steffan. Do you scroll through Reddit comparing boobs to your mom's while she's breastfeeding you? Damn.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Update.
What? Wait, what? 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 I was not expecting that. I thought we were about to wrap this up. Oh my God. Let's go.
It's a quick little update.
Okay.
Steffan has seen this post. He is mad that apparently one of you found him based on the rate my boobs thing. He has deleted his account. For any purposes, I want to clarify that I left out any actual incriminating information that could lead to doxing him. Any and all people who are pretending to know me or have any incriminating information about me are lying. I am not from South Carolina. I am not moving in with any other guy, and I am also not sleeping around. Okay, well, he found it, deleted his account, so.
That's awesome.
Whoa.
He knows.
One thing checked off.
He knows.
Wow, that was magnificent.
That is crazy. I feel like another kind of like thing that we need to discuss as well is that the mother-in-law's relationship to her son, because that's also something that's so common as well in these family issues. It's so often a parent just being so clingy to, a lot of the times it's a mom still connected to her son and being like, you're still like my son, so I still get to be in charge of this, which, you know, again, I can grant a little bit of like, I understand still having that like love, that connection, but it definitely becomes inappropriate when it starts being critical of his partner. When it starts being like, making jokes about her body.
It's
like,
crazy.
That's
Wearing
not
white
okay.
to the wedding.
The mom called her fat in front of everyone.
And
she didn't
the
do
fact
anything.
that everyone let her just do that. No one did anything, which
No,
is like, what does
the mom
that
is trying
say?
to still be the most important woman in his life.
Yeah, and it is super common because like sometimes people will raise their son to be what they wanted to have. you know, or what they want, you know, for the world, but then end up getting I think
A
just
Redditor.
an unhealthy, yeah, every woman wants a Redditor son. No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But like and then they have an unhealthy attachment, and it's just really weird how like he's got like blinders on.
Yeah.
You know?
That is such an interesting concept, because then that almost gives us a reason behind the criticism of his partner, because she's in a weird way a little jealous.
Yeah.
That's
She is like,
part of
that's
it,
why
yeah.
I'm gonna make a fat joke. That's why I'm going to like constantly make him tell her that she's overreacting. Like it's almost like a weird, like you have to pick.
It's weird.
Yeah, and it's weird that he's like, she's gonna be in our daughter's life whether you like it or not. It's like, whoa, you're not only being like, no, it's okay that she's around our kid. You're like, no, she's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what are you
It's
saying?
weird.
And you're too soft. I'm gonna strengthen up this daughter.
Kid, yeah,
Like,
whoa.
this is not your kid to have.
No.
Well, she's a badass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good on
I
her.
have
Hope
a
she's
feeling
doing well.
whatever these texts are, she has everything lined up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she is not in South Carolina.
No,
And she is not sleeping around.
No.
But I hope she is one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in South Carolina.
In Italy. She's
Or
from
any-
Italy.
She deserves a ticket to Italy.
She should go find
does.
herself.
Future mother-in-law, who's 54, called me, a 23-year-old woman, stupid. And now I'm considering calling off the wedding. How do I approach the situation?
Okay.
I, a 23-year-old woman, am engaged to John, who's a 24-year-old man. We have been together for 5 years. We want to get married in July of 2025. I always thought that his family liked me because we get along well. He has 2 older brothers, 26 and 29, both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. Some kind of important information. About a year ago when I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw a profile that was kind of cringy, but in a cute way. It was an older woman's profile who shared inspirational quotes. I remember one particular post, and it was something along the lines of, "Only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend, just ask." Honestly, this quote changed me in a lot of ways. Before that, I was always worried that I might embarrass myself if I didn't know something, and after reading that quote, I realized that if I always pretend that I know everything, then I'll miss out on actually getting to learn about things. So I decided to change my habits and start admitting that sometimes I genuinely don't know. Someone is talking about the war in Kosovo? Okay, sure, but first let me ask some questions so I can really understand what we're talking about. And I ask a lot of questions sometimes. I sometimes even open the Notes app and write in some questions that I later want to find answers to. These are my latest. How does time work in a black hole? Why do some snails have shells and others don't? What food is okay for ducks? How does the light bulb work? The old ones with gas inside them. Does everyone see colors the same, and how can we know that? Sorry for the long introduction, but it was kind of necessary for understanding what kind of person I am. I know that sometimes I might come across as annoying. Now, on to the problem. His parents hosted a small barbecue last weekend only for the family. So it was the mom, 54, dad, 59, brothers, 26, 29, and their wives, 27, 27. I was the last person who showed up because I had to work late. I entered the house, and when I was walking towards the back of the house into the backyard, I heard John's mom talking about me. To be honest, she wasn't talking about me, more like mocking me. I heard her say in a high-pitched voice, "How does the sun work? Where should I put the fork? Why does nobody like me? How do I wipe my ass?" I just stood there. I had this sinking feeling, I couldn't move, so I just stood there, and I heard them all laughing. One of the wives said, "I actually don't mind her always asking questions. I think it's cute." And it made me feel hopeful that they will say something like, "Yeah, sure, we're just playing, we love that." But none of them did. Instead, the mom replied, "It's not cute, she's just stupid." After that, they laughed again. I heard John laughing. My heart kind of broke at that moment because he didn't even say one positive thing. He didn't defend me, he just laughed. I quietly turned around and left the house. I texted John that I got sick and had to stay home. Now I'm wondering how I should approach this situation. We live together and I sleep in the guest bedroom for now, and I use the excuse that I don't want him to get sick from being around me. I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore because it's been too long. I'm not sure how to proceed. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm also worried that they won't be honest with me. I can't marry him if he really thinks I'm stupid, but I also can't marry into a family who thinks so little of me. But maybe it was a joke and I shouldn't take it so seriously. I'm so torn apart, and every day I convince convince myself a bit more that it's okay and sometimes we should all laugh about ourselves. Now I feel like I'm just going crazy. I would really appreciate some advice.
This breaks my heart.
Dude.
I wish she stepped into the light and was like, I heard what you guys said.
Yeah, or like texted, like, hey, I heard everything.
If she stepped in, she goes, I've got a question. Why are you all such fucking assholes?
Yeah.
How many assholes does it take to change a light bulb?
I got a question.
I don't know.
What does it take in one's life to become such a goddamn bastard?
No, honestly, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Her own fiance. Like, what?
Like,
Dude.
not even saying, hey, come on. Like, nothing. Like, that's so hurtful.
No, I would be pissed.
And I feel connected to this story because of two things. There was one girl in my high school growing up that she would unapologetically, most straight face, always, like, if you said a word that was like, oh, that's inconceivable, she'd be like, what's inconceivable? And I go, oh, like, and then we go, oh, it's like this thing. And she just, it wasn't any weird thing at all. And I really, her and I were never close, but I always thought that was so cool about her.
Yeah.
And then there was one great teacher in my life that said, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And that has stuck with me always as well.
I also like that too. I like people asking questions because I can't stand when people are like, yeah, no, I know what it means. I know what it means. It's like, do you?
That to me, frankly, the stupidest people in the world think they're geniuses, right?
Right.
And I mean, they will make it clear, like they have the answers to everything. You see it on the internet, right? Like some event happens and there's a million people, you scroll, who just have all the answers. And you can tell they don't.
That to me is boring.
It's just, that's
Figured it
a
out.
sign of stupidity is you going, oh, yeah, this makes sense to me, so I've got it figured out.
Right.
What she's actually showing a sign of intelligence, of recognizing, oh, I recognize that I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
And there's curiosity there.
Right.
And a desire for knowledge. That, to me, is intelligence.
Right.
Also, her questions she has in her notes app, some of these are like very intelligent questions.
Yeah,
It's like,
I don't know.
it's not like, oh, I've got this stupid question like, how does time work in a black hole?
Yeah.
I want anyone to try to answer that. Ask that to the
mom.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She should
Mother-in-law?
have stepped into the light and been like, how does time work in a black hole? And there's my answer. And then she just leaves.
Yeah, I truly feel like when people ask questions in conversations, it's like it's good for the conversation. Like and like also if you want to include someone, make someone feel included in the conversation in that way, so they know what the hell you're talking about. Like there's literally nothing wrong with what she's doing.
Yeah. This
it's
is just
really
mean.
sad.
Like my heart sank for her, to be honest.
Stupid is such a mean
Yeah.
thing to like say about someone.
Ow.
And now you're also adding the fact that they're saying it behind her back, and the fact that her fiance is included in it.
I
is
really
devastating.
hated that.
It's not a matter of like what we think she should do. What would you do in this situation?
Yeah, like, cause I wish she hadn't gone and hide in a bed for 3 days. Like, that's horrible. It must feel horrible. But I would sit her fiance down and be like, hey, I just want you to know that I came into the house and I heard everything that you guys were saying about me. And it really hurt when your mom was saying these things. And it hurt even more that I heard you laughing and not sticking up for me. I would never do that to you. And just being like, what did I do to deserve such horrible things to be said about me? Like,
Correct.
and just say that. And I think seeing how he reacts will be very telling for the next step.
You know what's extra hurtful is that the sister kind of stood up for her a little bit.
Saying like, I like it.
She
It was the wife. It was the wife.
It was one of the sister-in-laws was like, oh, I think it's cute. It's like, so that almost, I think, makes it harder that her fiance didn't defend her when one of the siblings already was kind of.
Right.
Because it's not like, oh, all of them were ganging up. It's like, it wasn't. You could have been like, no, I agree with her. It's cute.
Yeah.
And it's not stupid.
It also couldn't be, it kind of is telling of the environment too, where like someone is trying to kind of in a way defend this girl, but then the mother like shuts it down and goes, no, she's stupid. It's like, oh, okay, so we're just having no room for like accountability in this moment. We're just being
Exactly.
mean.
And especially if it was a sibling's wife who did it,
Yeah.
clearly she has felt some bullying from the mom in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially.
But I agree with what you said. This is what she needs to do, confront.
She has to talk to him.
she has to talk to him, man.
You can't, she doesn't talk to him, that relationship's over.
Yeah.
It might already be. Update.
Yay!
Oh my God, what
Yay!
an update!
Finally.
Here we go. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to people who reached out to answer my questions about black holes, snails, ducks, light bulbs, and other stuff.
Yay.
I would love to have you as my friends.
Oh.
For the other people who said I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying or hard to be around. I'm okay with that. I don't exist to please everyone. I'm just here for a good time, have my own interests, and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm so grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him and at the very least confront him. So that's what I decided to do. You gave me a push and confidence to do it. But before I did that, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said she liked me asking questions. I asked if we can meet up for coffee. She said sure. We met, and I didn't see the point in pretending to her that I didn't hear their conversation. So after some small talk, I just said, I heard you all talking about me during the barbecue. She immediately got sad and said she felt embarrassed. She explained that it wasn't a joke, wasn't out of context, that it was just mean and hurtful. She said she's sorry for not defending me more, but I said that's okay and I understand. I told her that I don't blame her for anything and just wanted to make sure that I understood the situation and see it for what it really was. And it really was laughing at me behind my back, just bullying. At this point, I just had to confront John. In my last post, so many comments were saying that he will probably try gaslighting me, and you were right. We were having dinner together for the first time since the barbecue happened, because before I tried my best to avoid him. Yes, I know, not very mature of me, but other than you guys, I don't really have a strong support system. My family and best friends are hundreds of kilometers away. I only have 2 good friends here. I was so stressed, I thought I'm going to pass out. My legs were shaking and I was terrified because I knew deep down that this is the moment when my 5-year relationship goes down the drain. I looked him in the eyes and asked, how does the sun work? He looked confused, so I followed with, where should I put my fork? Why does nobody like me? At this point, realization hit him and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there and I heard him. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke, that it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny and went to the guest room to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he will be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother made similar comments before the barbecue. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to. I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me. I don't know if I believe it either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I've ever known. He was my first and only partner. I have no outside perspective of this. I have no experience. I need a moment to think. I will be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me nonstop. He tried calling, but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings, and only later, when he realized that I might break up with him, started apologizing. The next day, I decided to give him another chance to explain himself, and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard them. I said I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting. I think it's true. She never got the chance or never had the desire to have an education. She is a very good homemaker, but outside of that, she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I ask her about making tomato soup, she'll be talking for 30 minutes lecturing me about adding enough sugar, but not too much. She will lecture anyone who is willing to listen. But anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and tries to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, it shouldn't be discussed. Once again, he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point, I had enough. I took off my ring and told him that this behavior is a joke, and I can't be the punchline. I told him that I wish him and his family the best, and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friends soon to pick up the rest of my stuff and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. Sorry. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you, I wouldn't have the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family. So I'm done with the relationship. I hope they will treat his next girlfriend better. Thank you again, Reddit, for advice.
Let's go.
Whoa, that was the fucking best.
Wow.
I'm like,
She's the smartest one of them
I
all.
want to go for a run.
Yeah, she sounds very smart. I get very frustrated. We sum up intelligence as like memorized knowledge.
Yeah.
But there's, theories of like multiple intelligences. There's many different kinds. You might know someone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge memorized, but they might be extremely emotionally intelligent. There's There's a bunch of different kinds. You know, even memory has been proven to be like a muscle that if you work, you can get really good at it and memorize a lot more than you knew like a year before. So it's all fluid. But props to her, man. She really is, she does actually seem extremely smart.
Also, she showed so much intelligence when she made aware that the mom is a homemaker and just fights and bullies and defends when it's something that she doesn't know, a deep wound that the mom probably deals with. And it's like, that's real, that's sad, but the way she's handling it is just lashing out and projecting.
Her understanding of other people is far greater than this family's understanding of other people.
Yeah.
Update number 2.
Shut up! Don't tell me.
She is the president of a country.
United States.
It's been some time since I posted the last time, so I thought I'm gonna give you guys a small update because some people still keep messaging me. I appreciate all the kind words. So I got my own apartment now. I lived with my friend for a while and she was an amazing support for me after the breakup, but now I have my own place closer to my university and work. Turns out my ex-fiance didn't tell his family that we broke up. I blocked them all except for the ex because we needed to keep in touch in order to get my stuff from the apartment that we shared. And nice sister-in-law, and a week after the breakup, she texted me and asked when I will come to the parents' house because everyone wants to apologize. I called her and said that we're no longer together and I don't really want their apology. She seemed shocked because my ex was telling them that we're fine, she just needs some time. Ex-sister-in-law told me that the family is still fighting over this whole ordeal and that the brothers are giving my ex a hard time about the situation. I told her nicely that I don't really want any updates. I like her, but I cannot put my energy towards following their every move. She told me she understands. I don't know what happened after that with them. I'm happy. I went on a date with a cute guy I met in a cafe, but I'm taking everything slow and I don't want to rush any relationship. I'm not ready because just 3 months ago I was planning a wedding and right now I'm single and focusing on studying and work. When I graduate, I want to adopt a kitten and that's my only goal in terms of any big commitment right now. I also enrolled in CS50 by Harvard X and I recommend you all try and learn something new today. If you have any questions, then feel free and ask. I will try to answer in the comments.
Oh my God.
I want to watch her movie. I want to watch her movie.
I love her.
At the end, it's the last drone shot. She's got like her raincoat on and she has an umbrella and then she goes, I don't need this.
Yeah, and then
she puts my hair in an umbrella.
Yeah, and the drone goes into the tree.
And the drone goes into the tree and a naked guy goes, I gotta get it. She goes, nice to meet you.
Do you think in the cafe she was talking to this, or like bumped into this guy and he was just like, how do they make coffee beans? And she was like,
how does the sun work?
Let's find out. Oh my
he was
God.
like, what do ducks eat?
She's like, time, black hole? She's like, wait a second.
He was like, you lost me on that
You
one.
lost me with that one.
You lost me.
She's like, totally.
I'm so proud of her. Because one thing that I'm thinking about is like, everyone was like, it's just a joke, like, and she was like, it's not funny. And the thing about being funny is it requires intelligence to be funny. It does. And they weren't being f***ing funny. They're being lame. There's low-hanging fruit. Write a better joke, mother-in-law.
That's right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I love that. You're so right. In order to be funny, you have to be intelligent, and none of those family members are intelligent. Bye.
That's what they say. They say that people who are funny are the smartest people.
Okay.
That's so crazy, because you are not funny. Ridiculousness.
I just love that she was like, I have nothing to lose. I can get the out of here. She knew, she's like, I'm young. I'm still planning on it. I'm not locked in.
That's right.
Out, and she did.
She's gonna adopt a kitten.
She's the smartest. She's the best of us.
That's right.
That's right.
We love you.
Kitty cat.
It's like, no, it's from my backhoe.
My backhoe.
It's a real
side hoe.
My sister.
Or wait, is backhoe a real thing?
Backhoe's a piece of construction equipment, I think.
Oh.
No, but that was good.